Hello and welcome back to our channel where we simplify English learning for you. Today we're diving into daily English vocabulary, starting with the word fruit. Now, fruit generally refers to the sweet or savory product of a tree or plant that can be eaten, but it has other synonyms like produce or harvest. For instance, you might say, I enjoy having fresh fruit for breakfast. So remember, fruit isn't just a tasty snack, it's also a versatile word. Moving on, our next word is frustration. Frustration is a feeling of upset or annoyance that you might experience when you're unable to change something or achieve a goal. It's like hitting a roadblock that won't budge no matter how hard you try. Some synonyms for frustration are annoyance and irritation. Here's an example of how you can use it in a sentence. His constant tardiness is a source of frustration. Remember, frustration expresses more than just anger, it's about feeling stuck. Next up we have fuel and full. Fuel refers to a material that can be consumed to produce energy. Synonyms include energy source and power. For instance, you might say, the car needs more fuel to reach our destination. Meanwhile, full means containing or holding as much or as many as possible, having no empty space. Synonyms for full are filled and packed. You could say, the jar is full of cookies. Whether you're fueling your car or feeling full after a meal, these words are handy to use. Finally, we have fun. Now, fun is defined as enjoyment, amusement, or lighthearted pleasure. It's that feeling of joy you get when you're doing something you love. Some synonyms for fun include enjoyment and entertainment. Let's put it in a sentence. We had a lot of fun at the party last night. So you see, fun is not just about laughter, it's about savoring each moment and truly enjoying it. Let's quickly recap the words we learned today. We started with fruit, a synonym for produce, then frustration, another way to express discontent, fuel, which can also mean power source, full, synonymous with complete or whole, and finally fun, another word for enjoyment or amusement. These are simple words with a punch, and their synonyms can add depth to your English vocabulary. Thank you for joining us today. Remember to practice these words in your daily conversations. See you in the next video.
Hello and a warm welcome to all our viewers tuning in today. We're thrilled to have you here. Today we unravel the meanings and synonyms of 5 English words: function, fund, furniture, future, and gain. So without further ado, get ready to enhance your vocabulary. Our first word for today is function. Function refers to the purpose or role of something in a particular situation. For instance, the function of a teacher is to impart knowledge. Similar words include operation, role, and purpose. Remember, function is all about what something does or its role. Moving on to our next word, fund. A fund is a sum of money saved or made available for a particular purpose. For example, the company has set up a fund for employee healthcare. Similar words include finance, capital, or resources, so fund refers to a pool of money set aside for a specific purpose. Our third word is furniture. Furniture denotes movable objects that aid in making a space habitable or useful. Here's an example. The antique furniture added charm to the room. Synonyms include furnishings, fittings, and fixtures, so furniture refers to movable objects that make a space suitable for living or working. Next up we have the word future. The future refers to the time that is yet to come, beyond the present moment. For instance, we are hopeful about our future prospects. Synonyms include time to come, forthcoming, and prospective. Future is a term that refers to the time or a period of time following the moment of speaking or writing. Our final word for today is gain. Gain refers to the acquisition of something, whether it's wealth, skills, or knowledge. In a sentence, you might say, she saw a gain in her language skills after studying abroad. Synonyms include increase, growth, and profit. Hence, gain refers to an increase in something such as size, quantity, or strength. That brings us to the end of our vocabulary lesson for today. Let's quickly recap. We explored the word function, synonymous with operation or role. We also delved into fund, a term interchangeable with reserve or pool. Moving on, we discussed furniture, another term for fittings or furnishings. Future was next on our list, a synonym for time to come or forthcoming. Lastly, we touched upon gain, which can also mean profit or benefit. Thank you for joining us today. Keep practicing these words and their synonyms to enrich your vocabulary. Until next time, keep learning.
Hello there, dear viewers. Welcome to our channel where we make English easy and fun for you. Our purpose today is to delve into some new English vocabulary words along with their synonyms. So buckle up for this fascinating linguistic journey. Our first word for today is found, a word you probably use often. Found refers to the establishment or initiation of something. Its synonyms include established, set up, and launched. So next time, instead of found, you could say established, set up, or launched. Moving on, our next word is frame. A frame is a structure that surrounds or encloses something, like a picture or a window. If frame doesn't fit, try using synonyms such as structure, border, or casing. Instead of frame, you can use structure, border, or casing. Next up is framework. This term is used to describe a basic structure underlying a system or concept. It's akin to words like structure, scheme, and system. So, framework can be replaced by structure, scheme, or system. Our fourth word for today is free. This term implies a lack of restrictions, constraints, or limitations. It's like being unbound, open to possibilities. Remember, free can be substituted by unrestricted, open, or unbound. And lastly, we have frequent. This word refers to something happening often or at regular intervals. It's much like saying regular, common, or recurrent. So, frequent can also be expressed as regular, common, or recurrent. All right, that was quite a ride. We've journeyed through found, explored frame, navigated framework, unlocked free, and visited frequent. Remember their synonyms, they're key to enhancing your English vocabulary. Thank you for being with us today. Remember, learning is a continuous journey. See you in the next video.
Hello, language enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel where we dive into the depths of English vocabulary. In today's video, we'll explore 5 intriguing words, all beginning with G. We'll delve into their meanings, pronunciations, and usage. So, buckle up and get ready to expand your English vocabulary. Our first word for the day is gap. A gap, pronounced as gap, refers to a break or hole in something that creates a space. It's like the little space between two closely placed objects or ideas. Let's put it into context. There was a small gap between the two buildings. So, next time you see a space or break, remember that's a gap. Now that you've learned about gap, try incorporating it into your vocabulary. Use it in your next conversation and take a step towards enriching your English. Moving on to our next word, gate. This term, pronounced as jeet, signifies a hinged barrier used to close an opening. Think, he walked through the gate into the garden. Impress your friends with your use of the word gate in your next chat. Next up is the word gaze. Gaze, pronounced as geez, is a steady intent look. An example of its usage could be, she gazed at him in surprise. Now you know another interesting word, gaze. Try it out. Our fourth word for today is gear. Pronounced as agir, it signifies equipment or apparatus essential for a specific purpose. A sentence could be, she packed her gear and left for the trip. Incorporate gear into your vocabulary and see the difference. The last word for today's video is gene. Gene, pronounced as dzin, is a unit of heredity transferred from a parent to offspring. For instance, genes determine a person's eye color. So, that's gene for you. Try using it in your next science discussion. And there you have it, 5 new vocabulary words to add to your English lexicon. We've explored gap, gate, gaze, gear, and gene today, each bringing a unique flavor to your conversations. Thank you for joining us today. See you in the next video.
Welcome back to our channel, your go-to place for enriching your English vocabulary. Today we're delving into 5 intriguing words: desperate, destroy, detail, detect, and determine. Each one of these words holds a unique essence that we'll explore together, so buckle up and get ready to enrich your vocabulary. First up, we have the word desperate. Desperate refers to a state of despair, typically due to extreme need or desire. Synonyms include anxious, eager, and impatient. For example, he was desperate to find a job. So when you're in a dire need of something, you are desperate. Moving on, our next word is destroy. This term signifies reducing something to fragments or ruins. Synonyms include ruin, demolish, and wreck. For instance, the earthquake destroyed many buildings. So when something is reduced to fragments, it is destroyed. Next in line, we have detail. A detail is a specific piece or part of something larger. Synonyms include particular, specific, and item. For example, she explained the plan in detail. So when you explain something thoroughly, you discuss it in detail. The fourth word we're exploring today is detect. It means to discover or notice something. Synonyms include discover, notice, and identify. For instance, the detective was able to detect the clues left behind. So when you notice or discover something, you detect it.
Lastly, we have determine. This word signifies making a solid decision or resolution. Synonyms include decide, resolve, and settle. For instance, in a sentence you might say, they determined to complete the project on time. So when you make a firm decision, you determine. To quickly recap, we've explored desperate, destroy, detail, detect, and determine. Thank you for joining us. Keep learning until we meet in the next video.
Hello and welcome to the channel that helps you boost your English vocabulary. Today we're diving into 5 intriguing words that start with the letter G. Enhancing your vocabulary can open doors to understanding and communication. Stay tuned as we explore these words and their synonyms together. Our first word for today is general. General refers to something that is common or usual, not specific or detailed. For instance, he has a general idea about the project. It can also mean standard, like, this is the general procedure we follow. So remember, general is synonymous with common, usual, and standard. Moving on to our next word, generate. This versatile word is synonymous with produce, create, and form. For instance, a factory generates products, a writer creates stories, and a sculptor forms statues from clay. Therefore, generate can also mean produce, create, or form. Next up, we have the word gently. Gently is an adverb often used to describe actions done with care or without force. For instance, he gently closed the door. Synonyms for gently include softly, delicately, and lightly. So, gently can be replaced by softly, delicately, or lightly. Our fourth word for today is gesture. A gesture is a movement or action that communicates a message. It's like a sign, a signal, or an indication. For instance, a thumbs up is a universal gesture of approval. So next time you can use sign, signal, or indication instead of gesture. And finally, we have the word get. A common word but with a plethora of meanings. Get can mean to receive, like, I get a letter every week. It can also mean to obtain or acquire, like, I need to get a new car. So get can also mean receive, obtain, or acquire. And that brings us to the end of today's vocabulary session. We've explored general, generate, gently, gesture, and get, along with their synonyms. Remember, using synonyms enriches your language. Thank you for joining us today. We hope these words enhance your English vocabulary. See you in the next video.